Hey, what's up? And welcome back to another Marvel Rivals video. So today we're diving into the thrilling world of Marvel Rivals once again, where we'll spotlight the dynamic duo Cloak and Dagger. These two heroes bring a unique blend of powers and teamwork to the game, and we're going to explore their abilities, strategies, and how they dominate the competition. So I currently I guess it's season one, I have honestly mained Cloak and Dagger for however much time, and I'm averaging about 20,000 heals per 10 minutes, which should be showing the screenshot here. Boom. So, yeah, I feel like I have some sort of sense of like how to play Cloak and Dagger. So, yeah, let's jump right into it. First up, we are going to be doing the So first up, we are going to jump into the abilities. Cloak's abilities focus on stealth and crowd control, allowing him to envelop enemies in darkness, while Dagger excels at dealing damage and providing support with her healing light. Together, they can turn the tide of battle. And it is insane, like the difference you can make once you, like, I guess, I won't say perfect her because I haven't even perfected them, so once you get better and better and better each game, it's amazing how fast the tide can turn if you know when to hit an ability or when to hit an alt, etc. So yeah, let's jump right into explanation of abilities. All right, so for abilities, so the fact that we have both Cloak and Dagger, we kind of have two separate, I guess, ability sheets. Most of them are kind of the same, such as the ultimate and obviously the left shift, but the normal attack and the E and the right click are different. So yeah, so first up we have Dagger's Light Force Dagger. So we'll unleash a bouncing light force dagger to damage enemies and heal nearby allies. So as you can see, this is just her normal attack. If you aim it at an enemy or if you aim it at an ally, it will automatically go to that person. If it's an ally, it will heal, and if it's enemy, it will damage. Pretty simple, pretty straight to the point. Uh, this does not do much damage to enemies, so I recommend truly focusing on aiming this at an ally, unless you're just trying to get that last bit or last centimeter of health that your ally couldn't finish off on an enemy. Then that would be the only reason why I would say just to aim it at an enemy. All right, so next up we have Eternal Bond, which is the ultimate for both Cloak and Dagger. And as you can see, whenever they hit this ultimate move, enemies along the path take damage and allies along the path are healed. This is a great ultimate to use whenever you feel like your team is like getting pushed back to the point like, hey, we may die if we don't use his ultimate, or everyone may die, or we can at least push back the enemy just a little bit. So next up, we have Shadow's Embrace, which is the switch between Cloak and Dagger. This allows you to switch in between both of them. Pretty simple, straight to the point. Then we have Veil Force. So Veil Force is the E ability. You deploy a Veil of Light Force to heal allies upon touch and granting them a healing boost. So this really it helps heal allies. There's no for Dagger anyway. There's no advantage to use it on enemies. So make sure that you focus this on your allies. This is mainly just a healing boost. So you hit them with the E, and then you want to spam them with heals, as you can see in the example video. So that way they can get their health back and they can get back into the fight. And then we have Dagger Storm. So Dagger Storm is launch a volley of daggers, creating a healing over time field in the impact area. This skill is probably one of the best and one of the most unique skills that Cloak and Dagger has, uh, or that Dagger has. I think that this is honestly one of the best healing moves for me. I'm no pro, but just from the hours upon hours that I have playing this game so far, I feel like Dagger Storm is probably one of the best abilities for them or for her. So yeah, definitely throw this out whenever you feel like, hey, I can throw this out on ally, or I also use this to throw this on myself if I feel like I'm getting pushed too hard and there's literally no way for me to get out of it. So this is good to throw on allies and also good to throw on yourself. All right, so next up we have the team up abilities, which is the passive. I think she only has a team up ability with Moon Knight. So as you can see, Cloak and Dagger can inject light and dark energy into Moon Knight to create a light and dark realm where Moon Knight can become invisible. So essentially, as you can see, Moon Knight's in the center of the I guess circle, and he just goes completely invisible, and he can attack in this invisible field, and enemies can't see him. They probably can hear him, but they can't see him. All right, so now we're gonna switch over to Cloak. We're not gonna go over the attacks that we already kind of went over, such as Eternal Bond and the Life Shift's Embrace and the passive. So first up, we have the normal attack, which is the Dark Force Cloak. This inflicts continuous damage to an enemy. So this reminds me of more or less like a Scarlet Witch attack. It's just a continuous beam of attack that literally melts enemies. It does nothing to allies, so don't try to use this on allies, or you be sitting there like, "What am I doing?" Or your other teammates will probably ask you like, "What are you doing?" Please switch off. So please don't try to use this on on allies. Use this on enemies. And then next we have Terror Cape. So Terror Cape, you deploy a veil of dark force to damage enemies upon touch, applying blind to narrow their sight and vulnerability to amplify damage received. So I wouldn't say it really blinds. It kind of just blinds everything out of the peripheral. Everything in front, I would say, or in close vicinity, they can see. So don't think that this is like a complete blind. If you are like right in front of the enemy, they can see you and they will shoot you. So do not use this as a tactic to be up close and personal and think that you can just use this and go completely invisible. You cannot. They will shoot you. They will kill you. So next up, we have Dark Teleportation. So enshroud nearby allies in Dark Forest Dimension and grant them phase, making them untargetable and invisible to enemies and granting them a movement boost. Now, this, along with Dagger's right click, these are like the bread and butter of each, I guess, each character. So this is, if you're ever on a comp team, this is what you want to use. This is what everyone on your team is going to be looking for you to do. Whenever an enemy ultimate is up, and if you can manage to do it in time, or if you have it available to you, you want to always use this at the perfect time to ensure that your team does not die to an ultimate. If you can do this perfectly, then you can get away with a lot of things. You can keep your team in the fight, and you can continue just winning the point or winning wherever you are. So this is probably one of the best skills that Cloak and Dagger has. So just keep in mind, like, you have to time this perfectly. You may want to go into the practice range and attempt to figure out the timing on all the different abilities and things. But if you can get this down, you are gonna be golden. You may be one of the top % of Cloak and Dagger players if you can get this down 100%. All right, so next up we are gonna jump over to our gameplay strategy. So we're gonna show you some gameplay and kind of just talk through it and see what happens. All right, so now that we've went through some of the abilities and you kind of seen on the practice screen, let's just get into some real time in the practice range. So first up, we're gonna just start off with her her Light Force Dagger. So as you can see, our Light Force Dagger like bounces off the ground. So the best thing to do whenever you're like not in line of sight is to try to bounce it off the wall or bounce it off the ground to see if you can essentially knock it off and hit an ally or an enemy. So if you do this, well, it's gonna automatically go. And that's also a bright side, that Cloak and Dagger's thing like automatically targets enemies or allies. So as you can see, displayed by the white and red, it will automatically go directly to an ally or an enemy. But if you're ever in a situation where you can't see them, you can always just hit a wall, bouncing off the correct angle to hit an enemy or ally. So that obviously that works with enemies as well. So we can't really see, but he's taking damage from the hits. And then next up, we have her dagger storm. So that's the right click. So as you can see, you throw down a circle of health, in which if you stand in the circle of health, you will get healed, or whoever's standing inside will get healed. So this heals over time, as however long they stand in it. As soon as they step out of it, they lose that health. And then we have her E, which is Veil of Light Force. So this enhances, well, I was able to hit this one. This enhances the amount of health that you're able to essentially heal enemies. I mean, not enemies, allies. So you want to always hit this and try to enhance the heal. It also gives like somewhat of a passive heal. So yeah, you want to always use this when possible. Or if you feel like, hey, they're in trouble, they need to be healed fast, you essentially like double heal and just keep it going. So next up, we have her ultimate. So from the recent buff, they now have made it 4 charges instead of 3. So essentially, it heals allies, damages enemies. Simple, straight to the point. You want to use this whenever you feel like, hey, like we're in a strong position, we can win this fight, but we may lose it if they don't get healed right now. So we're gonna switch on over to Cloak, which everything is pretty straight to the point. So we have Dark Force Cloak, as you saw in the little practice range. You can see that you don't really have to aim, you just have to be in the vicinity and kind of just, I don't even think you have to look at the target. I think you just have to be close. Yeah, you just have to be close to the target and you can do damage, kind of like Scarlet Witch's attacks. And then we have his, I think it's like a Veil of Darkness. No, Terror Cape, which essentially kind of just blinds the enemies. You can tell they're blinded because they give off like a purple hue. So you see how they're normal right now. Then once you use that, they have like a highlighted purple hue, which I'm pretty sure you can change this in the settings to, I guess, make it more obvious. But I just have it. And then you also have one of the most important things. I don't want them to die real quick, so let's see. So you have one of the most important things. So right now, if I right click and essentially go in the cloak, they become invulnerable to damage. They don't take damage. So you want to use this as often as possible, either to help yourself or help allies to make sure they don't get hit by ults, or just take damage if you're ever in a position where you feel like, oh man, I can help with them. So let's use this, try to help them get away, try to maneuver around, because it also allows the user and an ally to disappear essentially, and they won't be able to see you. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. I think that about covers all the abilities. So yeah, let's jump into some strategies. So here are some tips to maximize their potential. So let's start with Dagger. Dagger's healing light. You want to make sure to always keep Dagger close to allies who need healing. Her light daggers can not only deal damage, but also provide crucial support during the intense battles. And as you can see on the gameplay, I'm like quickly transitioning between the different heals. I feel like I'm always hitting the left click. So I'm always sending some sort of heal to allies and always trying to do some sort of damage to enemies. Because her daggers or her light beams bounce off of walls. So that allows you, even if you don't have line of sight of enemies or allies, you can just throw in the vicinity. And if you can get the correct angle, you can always hit your allies, always hit your enemy. Yeah, and that you can go from there. And in times of whenever you feel like everyone's healed up and everyone can survive and y'all can make a final push, I like to switch over to Cloak. to utilize his stealth and to try to get in and just stab enemies down. Because as you saw from the ability side, uh, Cloak's beam of light or beam of darkness from his hand is insane. He will literally beam down an enemy in an instant if they allow him to stay too close. So you definitely want to utilize Cloak's stealth to get in close, or even if you don't already know, and I think I explained it in the abilities, whenever there's an ult or something going on, make sure to always try to use Cloak's stealth to make sure you don't get targeted. So as you can see from the gameplay, I kind of go back and forth between Cloak and Dagger depending on the situation. You want to try to stay in the back lines, try to stay away from the enemy team because once again, she is a healer and they are healers and they will go down super fast. They don't have the highest amount of health and they don't really have a way to fight away hard hitting enemy. So other than trying to cloak away and kind of just run away and throwing whatever heals on the ground that you can, I try to maintain a fair distance from people unless I know like, hey, I can survive this. Let me jump right on in. But yeah, that about wraps it up. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you took something from this, comment down below and let me know. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. And if you want to see more, let me know down in the comments who I should do next. Peace.